Welcome to Sheikh Hamdan's Fans official channel, where we dive into the captivating world of the royal family dynamics. Tonight, we're exploring the intriguing tale of Sheikh Hamdan's personal life, a story woven with mystery, love, and the complexities of human relationships. As the rain pattered against the windowpane, a sense of unease settled in. The rhythmic beat of the droplets seemed to echo the turmoil brewing within. Questions swirled, like whispers in the darkness, but the words remained elusive. The weight of uncertainty hung heavy, a nagging feeling that something had shifted, like the delicate balance of a seesaw. In the midst of this emotional storm, a sense of desperation crept in. The distance between two people, once connected by threads of love and affection, had grown. The silence was oppressive, a physical presence that pressed upon the chest. Every attempt to bridge the gap felt like a precarious tightrope walk, where one misstep could shatter the fragile illusion of normalcy. That fateful night, the sound of the car pulling into the driveway shattered the stillness. The headlights cast an eerie glow, illuminating the face of the one who had been distant for so long. The eyes, once bright and warm, now seemed guarded, the smile forced. The heart sank, like a stone dropped into a deep well, as the door closed behind her. The silence was suffocating, a heavy blanket that smothered the air from the lungs. The words, once spoken with ease, now faltered, like a bird with broken wings. The desperation grew, a burning fire that threatened to consume everything in its path. And yet, in the midst of this turmoil, a glimmer of hope flickered, a beacon of light that guided the way through the darkness. As the night wore on, the tension between them grew thicker, like a fog that clung to every surface. The air was heavy with unspoken words, the weight of which threatened to crush them both. And yet, even in the midst of this emotional storm, a spark of love remained, a flame that flickered with a warm, golden light. In that moment, it was clear that something had to give. The silence could not be sustained, the distance could not be maintained. A choice had to be made, a path had to be taken. Would they find their way back to each other, or would the chasm between them grow too wide to bridge? The outcome was far from certain, but one thing was clear: the fate of their love hung precariously in the balance. As I trailed behind her, my heart racing with anticipation, I knew I had to confront the elephant in the room. The air was thick with unspoken emotions, and I could feel the weight of her silence bearing down on me. I took a deep breath and spoke, my voice barely above a whisper. "We need to talk," I said, the words tumbling out in a rush. She froze, her back still turned to me, and I sensed a subtle tension in her shoulders. It was a small movement, but it spoke volumes. She knew I was about to ask something she'd rather not answer. "What is it?" she asked, her tone flat and detached. I tried to brush off the chill in her voice, but it was impossible to ignore. The warmth and softness that once characterized our conversations were now distant memories. I pressed on, my words spilling out in a clumsy but heartfelt torrent. "I've noticed things," I said. "You've been coming home late, and you're not yourself. I need to know what's going on." The truth was, I was grasping at straws, unsure if it was something I'd done or something I hadn't done. But I needed to understand, to unravel the mystery that had been unfolding before my eyes. She didn't respond immediately, leaving me suspended in a sea of uncertainty. I watched her, willing her to turn and face me, to offer some glimmer of hope. But she remained still, her fingers gripping the edge of the counter as if she was struggling to hold herself together. Finally, she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm tired," she said. "I'm just tired, okay? I don't have the energy to explain anything right now." I wanted to push her, to coax the truth out of her, but something in her tone gave me pause. It was as if she was hiding behind a mask of exhaustion, concealing a deeper pain. I hesitated, unsure of how to proceed. Part of me screamed to dig deeper, to uncover the secrets she was keeping, but another part of me whispered to be patient, to let her reveal her truth in her own time. That night, I didn't press further, but the feeling of unease lingered. I couldn't shake the sense that I was standing on the precipice of something momentous, something that would change the course of our lives forever. The not knowing was almost unbearable, and I found myself torn between my desire to uncover the truth and my fear of what I might discover. As I lay awake, my mind racing with possibilities, I knew that I had to find a way to bridge the gap between us, to reconnect with the woman I loved. The days that followed were a blur of uncertainty, the silence between us growing thicker with each passing moment. I felt like I was walking on eggshells, waiting for a crack in the facade, a glimmer of hope that she might finally open up to me. But it never came. The distance between us stretched out like an endless desert, leaving me feeling lost and alone. It was then that I received a mysterious letter, slipped under the door like a whisper in the night. The envelope was small and unassuming, but the words inside packed a powerful punch. "You're not the only one who loves her," the letter read. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut, the wind knocked out of me. My heart racing, I read the words over and over, trying to make sense of them. Who could have written this? And what did they mean? The questions swirled in my mind like a vortex, pulling me under. As I struggled to come to terms with the letter's implications, I felt like I was living in a dream. Everything I thought I knew about our life together was being turned on its head. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was missing something, that there were secrets lurking just beneath the surface. The more I thought about it, the more the pieces started to fall into place. The late nights, the secrecy, the coldness that had settled between us, it all made sense now. But I needed to confront her, to get to the truth once and for all. I steeled myself for the conversation ahead, knowing that it wouldn't be easy. But I was ready to face whatever came next, armed with nothing but my determination to uncover the truth. As I stood outside her door, my heart pounding in my chest, I felt like I was standing at the edge of a cliff. One wrong move, and everything could come crashing down. But I took a deep breath and pushed open the door, steeling myself for what was to come. She looked up at me, her eyes flashing with a mixture of fear and defiance. I knew in that moment that I had to tread carefully, that one misstep could spell disaster. The air was thick with tension as we faced off, the silence between us crackling with electricity. I could feel the weight of the letter's words bearing down on me, the accusations and insinuations swirling in my mind like a maelstrom. But I pushed them aside, focusing instead on the woman in front of me. I searched her face, looking for answers, looking for the truth. And what I saw there took my breath away. A glimmer of sadness, a hint of regret. It was as if she knew that our world was about to come crashing down, and she was powerless to stop it.